Yeah.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على من لا نبي بعده. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. All praises are due to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, God Almighty, the creator of all that was created. And we equally send salutations of peace to all his prophets and good people. As you all know from the background, we are in a special occasion where a presidential bid is being officially launched. But this is going to be a pre-launch. A mega launch is coming in a few weeks, God willing, and therefore your indulgence is requested and required. And because we're just starting in a few moments, I would just really request that we come forward, just in case some speaker will be speaking in a very low tone that cannot reach you. So I think it is much better if we occupy these seats in the front, inshallah. As we equally start, we have the rooms, some small offices the other side. If you may want to help yourself, you are free. Anytime you can just go help yourself. We also have some time for snacks at the back. I think that's going to come at the tail end of this, inshallah. Otherwise, I am Omar Al-Bashir. I will be taking you through this session as your moderator for the program today. After the speakers, there's going to be an open session at the tail end where your contribution in terms of ideas will be required. And the floor will be open for each and everyone. And if you feel you have something to say, then you are most welcome. You just raise up your hand, and one of the gentlemen will be passing the microphone over to you, and you'll get a chance to air your views, inshallah. The reason as to why we are here, as you all know, Mr. John Yahya Nene is running for presidency of the Republic of Kenya in the year 2022. So we have 1 year to go. And I tend to believe that it is the best time that we can have. And the reason why I am equally challenged to support Mr. John Nene is because of his youthfulness. A youth coming in with new ideas, coming in with seasoned experience from the private sector world, and being a manager himself, institutional manager. I think this is the right person that the Republic of Kenya needs at the moment. So this is what we are going to be talking about today, and you will be required to air any view that you may have to help us run this program effectively. And come 2022, be it December or August, we clinch this thing the earliest time possible, probably by 10 in the morning, inshallah. And to start us off is a gentleman, a man who has seen it all. He is a friend to Mr. John Yahya Nene, and he has something to say about him. And not only him, his journey, and not only his journey, the jackpot that we are looking towards, the presidency. He has something to say. And I request Mr. Daniel Juma, who is the CEO, Chief Executive Officer of Global Peace Initiative, Kenya, to step forward and give us his speech. Put your hands together as he comes. Welcome, sir.
Okay, thank you very much,
Mr. Omar, for the introduction, and my friend, Mr. John Yahya Nene. Originally, it's not easy to pronounce. I always say Yahya Nene. Today I had it right. John Yahya Nene. John has been a good friend of mine. I think we have known each other for a very long time. When we have been in this journey together, working for young people in this country, and I can attest that he has great leadership qualities that this country needs. So when he told me that he will be launching his presidential bid, actually he told me that this is a pre-launch, as you rightfully put. So when he told me that he will be launching, I did not give it a second thought. I said that I have to come and be able to witness and also to offer my moral support, because he is a youth, you know, like some of us. And as the MC rightfully said, that this country, you know, we are in that moment where we need a shift in direction. As you all know, so many things are going on in Africa, in Kenya today. Many people are dying, and so one of the most notable events of this week is the demise of John Pombe Magufuli, who has been one of my favorite presidents in Africa. John Pombe Magufuli, I had the occasion to meet him in Tanzania when he was just elected as president. And at that time I traveled in Tanzania with Right Honorable Raila Odinga, who is a good friend of mine. And you know, let me just say the transformation that, and if you visit Tanzania today, I had occasion to visit Tanzania last year, and I saw the transformation. From the airport, when you go into Dar es Salaam, you know, it is, you can think you're in Dubai. And when you drive into Dar es Salaam, I think John Pombe has done a very, very good job within the short time that he was president. And he looked like he was a man in a hurry to achieve something. And today, Tanzania is at a better place than before John Pombe Magufuli became president. So for me, it's just to take this opportunity to, you know, send my condolences to the people of Tanzania, and also to congratulate the new president who was inaugurated yesterday, a lady, the first woman president, you know, the first woman in a Bajaj. The ladies here who are wearing Bajaj, you should be proud that first woman president in Africa was inaugurated yesterday, even though the circumstances were very sad. But we believe that she will rise to the occasion and be able to take Tanzania, you know, to where John Pombe Magufuli left. I feel I need to talk about this because what we're doing here today is very relevant, you know, to the journey of John Pombe Magufuli. John Pombe Magufuli just showed up. He was just, you know, a normal man. I think he was an assistant minister during that time that they did their Chama Mapinduzi nomination. So as he said, I just showed up, and he was elected. He was given the nomination to run for president. I think at that time, you know, there were big names that were expected to be given that nomination. But here's a young man who just showed up, and he was able to be given the CCM ticket, and he rose again to become the president of the United Republic of Tanzania. Why do I say this? John Yahya Nene is also showing up. You know, the first thing that you have to do as a leader, this is what I tell young people, is that we have to start the habit of showing up, you know, of rising up to the occasion. If you do not rise up to the occasion, you would not achieve anything. You know, you can have a dream, but if you don't stop dreaming and start doing something towards that dream, then that dream is as useless as other things that have not you know, been successful. So for me, the first step to achieving leadership is actually showing up, actually declaring, you know, your interest and actually moving forward. And some of these things are difficult, and people think that the presidency is a big deal. It's never a big deal. It's anybody. Anybody can be president. Anybody who has, of course, qualified. And I believe John Yahya Nene is qualified, you know, and he's a Kenyan, and he has done great things. And I think that he is qualified, and if he is able, you know, to move and be nominated, then he will be the same pedestal. You know, he will be on the same level with the other presidential candidate, be it William Ruto, be it Raila Odinga, be it Musalia Mudavadi. Any voter who goes to vote, you know, will have the freedom to vote for any of the presidential candidates, including John Yahya Nene. So that's why I think today is very, very critical, especially for young people who aspire for leadership. You cannot be saying that you want to be a leader, but you don't take a step towards that. So that step is very, very critical. And I can just give you, you know, a very brief, you know, a history. When I was in high school, we used to judge our qualities of marketing, you know, by, of course, when you meet a girl in the streets, sometimes you see the girl is very beautiful, but you do not even have the courage to say hello. You know, so sometimes we used to go for outings. I remember drama outings, debating club outings, and then where I schooled in Ukwala High School, we could go to the girls' schools around there. And of course, you see a beautiful girl passing. And so we used to judge our courage, you know, by gathering the courage to say, hello, can I introduce myself? So that those days we used to have pick-up lines, of course, we were practicing. And we were just young. But, you know, at some point, I had a friend of mine called Tom Ochieng, so we used to do a lot of things with it. But I remember, one of the things that I learned is that if you gather the courage just to say hello to her and ask her name, she will just tell you her name, and she will stop and actually, you know, be able to listen to you. So that one step is very, very important. But there are some other people who are so afraid of girls that they cannot gather the courage to even say hello. So you see a beautiful woman, but you are afraid. You think she will be angry if you say hi to her. So that's one of the things that I learned. That if you like something, you must gather the courage to actually be able to especially approach. And that is one of the reasons why we have so many young people, so many people who are already at their median age, but they're still single, because they cannot gather the courage to say hello to ladies. You know, so that is a very, very good example that I'm giving you today. That if you like somebody, you know, gather the courage, say hello to her, ask her name, you will be rewarded. You never know. She is also waiting for somebody to approach her. So I also compare that to leadership. So John Yahya Nene, you never know. Maybe Kenya is waiting for you to just say your name, to just say hello. I want to be your president, and you may just be the next president of this republic. So leadership, you told me talk about leadership, but of course, you know, there are so many qualities of a good leader, you know, and one of the things that, of course, defines good leadership, and especially in Africa, when John Pombe Magufuli passed on, you heard about the few transformational leaders that Africa has had. You heard about Sankara, and just a few people, Rwanda, Paul Kagame. These are few people who they have done their best to try to transform their countries. So I believe that this country, just like other African countries, we need transformative leadership. We need leaders who can be able to transform, our countries. Leaders who will have the courage, leaders who will be looking at the next generation as opposed to the next election. As they say that most African leaders or most politicians look forward to the next election. But I want to challenge you all who are here today, including John Yahya Nene, that you need to focus not just the next election, 2022, but let us focus on, the next generation. And that's why I've always believed that my mission as a leader is to inspire the next generation of African leaders. So, and of course, that so many problems that we have, especially around corruption, especially misuse of resources. And that's one of the qualities also. And I like talking about this issue because it's a relevant issue. That when President Magufuli came to power, one of the things that he did was to cancel, he disbanded all international travels by his cabinet. And that saved him, almost $5 billion, $5 billion shillings, that's almost $5 million per year that he was able to save. And that money was able to, be put into infrastructure. You can see now, as we're talking today, Tanzania, of course, has, Air Tanzania had a few new flights, right? A few new airplanes. And that is the kind of leadership that I think is good. So the president may have had his failures, and every human being have their failures, have their weaknesses. But I believe that the strength, his strength was actually much better. And we in Kenya and all over, other places in Africa, I think we have a lesson to learn from Magufuli. And that is why it's also proper that we are launching the presidential bid of my friend John Yahya Nene by looking at Magufuli. This week we will be looking at his life, whatever happened, and we are able to learn. So I think, and I want to urge you that you can have something to learn from the journey of Magufuli and compare it to other presidents in Africa, and decide for yourself that if you become president, what kind of president would you like to be? Would you like to leave your country better than you found it? Or will your country be worse than you found it? So for me today, I'm very, very happy. I'm very, very happy that my friend John Yahya Nene has made the decision, that he wants to be the president of the Republic of Kenya. I remember in 2019, and he knew about it in April 2019, when I decided to run for Member of Parliament of Ugenya constituency. I think at that time, people were saying, oh no, you can't, wait for 2022. But I said, no, this is my time. I want to do it right now. And of course, it wasn't easy running, for a by-election. And that time, I was able to learn about the difficulties, the tricks, and about the failures of our electoral system. And as we approach 2022, I think this nation really must be sincere about how we want, to manage our elections. Right now, of course, they're talking about the Building Bridges initiative and all the changes that we want, to make towards the Constitution. But I believe one of the most important changes that we must make in this country is to sort out our electoral management system. This is a country that goes to war every 5 years. Every 5 years, we go to war simply because we elect our leaders. The Constitution says that every 5 years we must subject ourselves to an election. But this was never intended, that every 5 years, whenever we elect our leaders, people must die. So in Kenya, this has been happening. And I was happy to be one of the people, working through the Kenya Private Sector Alliance. We did a campaign called Kenya Daima. And at the Global Peace Foundation, we also did a campaign called Resilient Kenya, where we're telling the young people that you have a duty just to vote. As a voter, your work is just to vote. And as long as any of the people, as long as IEBC and EACC, these are the bodies, constitutional bodies, that are given the duty to be able to vet and nominate presidential candidates. So I'm saying that as long as you have been vetted and found worthy and fitting to be a candidate, when you move from an aspirant to a candidate, so as long as you're a candidate, we must agree as Kenyans that any of the candidates who have been vetted, who have been approved by the IEBC, who have been approved by the EACC, who have been approved by other bodies, including the DCI, we must accept that any of those people can be President of the Republic of Kenya. So we have no excuse to start fighting because the person I voted for did not win. It's like in Swahili they say, asikubali kushindwa, si mshindani, si ndio? So tunasema, we have given ourselves these rules. So we are going to run 100 meters or 10,000 meters. So we are running. So we cannot say that tunaanza kukimbia, alafu mimi nikishinda, inakuwa ni mimi sifai kushinda. Na wewe ukishinda ndio inakuwa sasa mzuri. So this is the problem with Kenya. So people go through elections, people are nominated when they are there. So Kenyans must learn, whether it was Mohammed Dida who won, if he won, we as Kenyans owe it to the Constitution to accept Mohammed Dida as president if he won. You get my point? You understand what I'm saying? So even as we go through the next election, 2022, we must accept that as long as IEBC, EACC will approve any of the presidential candidates, be it William Ruto, we over Tangatanga, be it Raila Odinga, be it the ones that we are calling the Sacred Alliance, any of them, be it John Yahya Nene, kama atakuwa amewekwa na IEBC, akawa if we transition from being an aspirant to a candidate, then Kenyans have a duty to accept John Yahya Nene if the majority of Kenyans vote for him as president. Yes or no? Yes. Don't we have a duty? So we cannot say that we are going to vote, alafu sasa hizo kura zikihesabiwa, tunasema sasa no, mimi sidhani kama I can accept John Yahya Nene as my president, or I can accept Raila Odinga, or I can accept William Ruto. No, we must agree that any Kenyan who is qualified can actually be president of the Republic of this nation. And that's why I think this is very, very important. The campaign period is a learning moment. This is a period whereby we will be educating Kenyans so that they understand their civic duty. Our duty as Kenyans, as voters, is just to vote. And I always tell Kenyans, when you vote, vote and go home. It is not your work. It is not within your purview to try and help the person you voted for. Ati unaenda kumpigia mawe, kusema sasa ati alishindwa, ati sasa unataka kuchoma tire because yule ambaye wewe ulipigia yeye kura hakushinda. Hiyo ni ungwana kweli? Hiyo sio ungwana. So we must learn to be able to understand our civic duties as Kenyan people. And lastly, you have to know that as Kenyans, you're just a voter. As a voter, once you vote, whoever is president, he's just using the Constitution to be able to run the country. But your work is to go back and work your head off, to pay taxes so that you're able to pay the legacies that the president and the MPs and all those people will be. So whoever is president, your work is just to pay taxes. So hii maneno ya kupigania ati mimi napigania yule ambaye alishindwa, napigania gavana wangu, that's bad manners. And that's one of the reasons why Kenya, if we cannot graduate from that. And that's why countries that are still behind, like you could see countries like, some other countries that are still having problems, even the Sudan, Burundi, is because their understanding of the constitution, their understanding of their civic duty is still below par. But countries that have already civilized nations do not care who is president. If you go to Finland today, if you go to Sweden, if you go to Europe, it doesn't matter who is president. You cannot even know who is president because those they are being governed by the rule of law, and people understand their duties, and it doesn't matter who is president and who is not president. Yeah. So I think this is very, very critical, and the journey of John Yahya Nene is very, very emblematic of what young people need to do, and you need to know that state house, sio ya baba ya mtu, sindio? Yes. Yes, I try to avoid to say the other. Sio ya baba ya mtu, ni ya kila mtu, sindio? Ni yetu sote, sindio? Sasa wewe pia unaweza kuwa president. Sijana uliona Madam Suluhu, sasa ndio amekaa katika ikulu Dar es Salaam, sindio? Sasa ikulu ni nyumba yetu sisi sote. Hata hii ya Nairobi ni nyumba yetu sisi sote. And I look forward to my brother John Yahya Nene when you are president of the Republic. I hope you'll be welcoming us there for tea, and if possible, if there are any appointments that you want to throw away, we will be happy to take it. Yes or no? Yes. Yes. Sasa mimi, I think kwa haya machache, let me just wish my friend John Yahya Nene all the best. It's not an easy journey. It's a difficult journey, but you must be consistent. I hope that you're going to be consistent. It's a lot of sacrifice. People say leadership but leadership is more of a sacrifice. There are people who will be seeing you, thinking you can solve all their problems. I remember when I ran for member of parliament, everyone, until today, everyone wants money from me. Money, school fees, someone has died, I think every weekend I send money for funerals. Even until today, every weekend. So you must know that it is not an easy job. It is a sacrificial job, sometimes a thankless job, So it's not an easy thing, but I am sure that you are up to the task, and I am sure that at the end of the day, this nation, shall prosper, especially when rightful thinking leaders, like John Yahya Nene, come forward to run for these positions, then this nation can move forward. But as long as we are saying that politics is dirty, ati siasa ni mbaya, alafu sasa nyinyi mnaongozwa na wale wanasiasa ambaye hawajaenda shule, wengine hawajaenda shule. Some of them left prison to come and run for offices. So you are being led by prison convicts. I don't want to name names. So it is up to you. So if you consider yourself a moral leader, a good leader, then it is your responsibility to show up and provide leadership. So John Yahya Nene, I have known you. You have done great things. It is rightful, it is proper that you are coming up to run for this position. And if you can do it, and I'm sure also the others, the ladies here, can also do it. I want to see the more ladies running up for member of parliament, for senate, for governors, for MCAs, and all that. So with all those remarks, I thank you so much for those who attended this, and I look forward to working with you. Let me know whether I can give any advice or whatever. My office is always well open to you, so that we can see how we can help you to achieve this dream. So thank you so much, and may God bless all of you.
Mr. R.D. Brinsman, who was an American lay preacher, he said the following things: "He who withholds the truth or debars man from motives of its expediency is either a coward, a criminal, or both. Challenging the status quo, the leadership of the day, and especially coming from a youth like John Yahya Nene, throws us back to the common saying as to who is going to bail the cat, which rat is going to bail the cat, and who is going to sacrifice to do that. Yahya Nene has decided to go and face the cat and bail it. It's not very, very easy. But all the same, I would want to call upon Mr. Don Collins. Mr. Don Collins is a social entrepreneur. And he may want to tell us, what should we do differently? We have been doing things. We've been doing politics every now and then, management and all that. But what should we do differently so that we transform Kenya and leave it a safe place for our grandchildren? Mr. Don Collins, welcome.
Thank you. If there was a machine to measure how happy people are, then I think in this room I will be the happiest. Why? Because this ambition you see here today is something that was thought of 7 years ago when I first met John Yahya Nene in the office of the Labour Party of Kenya. A young man, very ambitious, in a striped shirt, collared shirt, blue, red, and white, you know, in a blue pair of jeans, a white Oppo phone that I thought cost 100,000, black sandals, and a navy blue Mac X. That was John Yahya Nene then, full of ambition and fire. I was only young and also ambitious, but we shared the same ambition. That was back in 2014. I count 7 years to date. So it is an ambition that has been nurtured for 7 years. And you're asking ourselves, how do we develop Kenya the way we have seen of other countries? We visited Denmark. We have visited many Scandinavian countries. Is it possible to have a Scandinavian out of Kenya where everybody is sure that he'll have a meal tomorrow, and is sure of their security, and is sure that if they speak, their voices will be heard? Then I said, okay, let's see what we can do. And after that, many developments happened. We tried actively, John Nene specifically, Mwalimu Abdul Badida, help a gentleman come together and run for presidency. You know, Abraham Lincoln said that, you know, history remembers the war, but forgets the blood. In all these presidential campaigns, there are people who are behind them, and these people are never talked about. But if I remember John Nene working very hard behind Abdul Badida to somebody, to a brand that people will recognize, I appreciate that. It didn't work though. Then later, 5 years later, there was another project that then was undertaken. But the same John Nene, with the same ambition of changing Kenya to something that would be admired. And there was the project of Dr. Ekuru Okot with the Third Way Alliance. From scratch, a political party was built, against all odds. And a candidate was presented to the people of Kenya. But it didn't work. But the ambition died. No, it did not. It was pushed on. And we said that let's start with a model county and show Kenya what can be done if we started small. And if this works, then everybody we will be able to emulate this, and with pride. So we went back to Migori for the senatorial by-election, and we came second. We were going against the system, of course. We were independent and going against an ODM region. Against the party called ODM, we came second. And the ambition did not die, and here we are today, 7 years later, after an ambition was born. So to me, if you ask me, I'm the most proud and I'm the happiest in this room, because at last we are here today. It is our time. I have here a statement with me that whose words I won't wish to mince, so I'll read it to you, one by one. We face many challenges today as a nation because of bad politics. Older people are losing jobs while young people are struggling with unemployment. Parents struggle to put food on the table while children die in public hospitals. No medicine. Police officers pay taxes hoping for clean tap water for their children, only to lose it in runaway corruption. That is Kenya. In Kenya, there's no consequence for breaking the law, especially if you can break the law. and get away with it. Political responsibility has been left to thugs. Political representation has turned into beauty contest, and populism is the order of the day. Where is our future? There's an option of agonizing until we perish and leave this nation, our children and our grandchildren, in a worse, more state than this one. But there's another option of thinking of alternatives, coming together to find possible progressive solutions and giving one another the support needed to take action in effecting these solutions. I choose the second option. It is time for young people of this nation to sign up for a different course, a course which will guide this nation towards a different realm of reality. We must disrupt a failed political system. Disruption is prerequisite for any form of political change. Development can only happen when a people has an experience of the extent of what is possible and a different form of mindset. Existing political beliefs have taken our nation hostage of many opportunities, chances, and an enabling environment that will facilitate development of institutions, which in turn will make it necessary for this country, full of brilliant ideas and individuals, to move forward towards growth. For this reason, I support John Yahya Nene and his idea for a progressive Kenya, so that our work in this endeavor becomes proof of concept of what can be achieved if objectivity and determination are merged in this quest for alternative leadership, and that our politics may set a stage for a new way of thinking in governance and economic development in Kenya. The best thing about disruption is that it is not competitive in nature. Disruption is not, it is a relief. It offers an alternative that is economical in terms of time, treasure, and comfort, while producing the same results, most of the time better. This politics is therefore not in competition with any individual nor institution. No. It is a proposition for an alternative way of looking at our politics and our political institutions, especially in relation to economic development. Where are we? Where were we? And where do we want to go? So that with the people, we can move along together. We do not want to move alone. We want to move with full involvement of the people. To revolt on behalf of an ignorant people is like self-immolation by fire to light the way for a blind person. Useless. So that's why we must move with the people. The people must understand why we are doing this. And they must be part of us each step as we move along. The prerequisite for any ideology is possession of a basic truth. And the basic truth is that our country is messed up. It is in dire need for political redemption. I know it's not easy to think and behave in new ways because our thoughts and actions are usually guided by present-day ideologies and social systems. However, the only way for evil to flourish, the only way for evil to flourish is for good men like you and I to sit back and do nothing. Evil will flourish. Change comes from power, and power comes from organization. In order to act, people must get together. Not just people, but people with the will and people with the means. In all this, I pray that God Almighty grants us the serenity to accept the things that we cannot change, the courage to change the things that we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. For it is my prayer, believing and trusting. Amen.
Thank you very much, Mr. Don Collins, for your moving speech. In the spirit of affirmative action, we already have Madam Suluhu Hassan in office, although in very, painful circumstance. But all the same, she is now Her Excellency, the President of the Republic of Tanzania. There is a sense in which women bring something different into leadership or any arrangement. And that is the reason why I am calling upon Madam Winnie Kaburu to come and give us some new ingredient into this. What should we do differently so that we move Kenya to where it should be? Welcome, Madam.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
I'm just sweating. I've just come in, so that one you need to pay me. I should have just breathed kidogo. But I'm happy to be here, and I'm proud to be here to say that Nene has come of age. And I've known Nene for some time, for some years actually. He's a wonderful young man, principled, and with a vision to take this country far. We have been talking about youth and women. I'm actually coming from Sagana, Kenya, for a PWD meeting. And it was all about what women are doing. I can see we are very few of us here, but we are represented by men who are women in their hearts. So even if it's not biological, but I believe there are men who believe that their mothers, their brothers, and sisters are important in their lives. So that is what we were talking, and I couldn't miss this occasion for anything. Only that I didn't have an helicopter and a flown. But Nene, soon you have one. I believe that. So I came when my brother was talking about women taking leadership. I think we are very happy about Tanzania setting the real nice road for East Africa. West Africa overtook us, but I believe with what is happening in Tanzania, though sad to lose our brother, the late president, who I admire a lot. We are still, God has, there's nothing which God does which is wrong, isn't it? Muslims and the Christians believe the same. Whatever God does is right. So we give him grace, we give him thanks for the life of the late His Excellency, Pombe Magufuli, and we pray for our sister to pick where he left. So I'm happy. At least we have got two ladies who have gained power in the last few days. Our senator in Machakos, from Wiper, Mrs. Agnes Kavindu Mudhama, so, and the president of Tanzania. So for ladies, we thank God for that. But today I'm here to tell you a bit about the incoming President 2022. My friend, my son, Nene. Nene, when I was campaigning 2013, 2017, I also campaigned. I think I'm becoming an in-house campaigner. I'm standing for all the positions there. He was there with me. I know he is principled. We even tried to start a party, but there was no money. So I know what I'm talking and who I'm talking about. We tried this and that, it was not happening. Because Kenya, unfortunately, and I can see very many young people here, unless you change your attitude and stop worshiping people because they are there, we have a long way to go. And I trust and believe in the leadership of young people. By now, all the people are here, up here, you know what I'm talking about, should be statesmen. They should be advisors. They should be mentoring. But unfortunately, they are the people who want power. I don't know what you can do in power for 20, 30, 40 years. Really, I don't know. Because if it is manifesto, you must have been able to make those manifestos practical if you have been in government that long. So I started to be corrected. But I think it's time they just became statesmen, became mentors, so that the young, who are 35 and above, I mean, that and the above according to the Constitution, can take over. So when a young person says that I wanted to try this, I'm telling you I will support him with everything I have as a mother. I will. And I pray even you who are here today. Don't look at him and say he's young, he is this. One thing about Nene, Nene has a heart of a lion. Nene has a heart who is so humble. And Nene, I will share this. I hope you give me permission. Nene's mom was sick for a long time. And he took care of her. With the meager money he had, I remember the day he called me at night at 4 o'clock, crying, and told me my mom is very sick. My mom is in pain. I woke up, I didn't have a lot of money. Whatever I had in my M-Pesa, I said, Then I took the mom to the hospital, back to the hospital, because he was in hospital for a long time. And the next day he called me and told me, my mom is not very well, but I thank God he's not in pain, as he has been given the medicine. That touched my heart. Do you know what kind of a person that is? Who cares? Even when he doesn't have so much, that is the kind of man we want to give leadership. Somebody who is ready to share, somebody who is ready to feel the pain of other people. Because when you care about your mother, you are caring for every mother in the world. When you are paying for the less unfortunate, it is the pain for all of us. So Nene, that touched my heart. And I believe God giving you power, you will be able to care for all of us. Because we are all your mothers, your sisters, your relatives. When you become a leader, you become a leader for everyone. Not the way we have been divided by parties. You are party that, you are party that. Anytime I look at you, I don't remember you are a human being. I look at you and I think you are that party, that party, that party. We are all Kenyans. We all belong to this country. When the country goes down, we all suffer. In one way or other, if you're in business, you're in school, you are professional, you all suffer. So I believe Nene's manifesto will be a manifesto to touch everyone, from the youth, the women, the PWDs, and the elders. We tend to forget about our elders. We forget our own traditions. So to me, I'm here today to tell you this is the right choice. Let's support him, and I know God above will bless us as he blesses. Thank you very much.
I would want to call upon another notable youth, Mr. Ababu John Mark, who is the president or the national president of the Bunge la Wananchi, Kenya. He actually controls a big constituency. Maybe he will tell us something about Mr. John Yahya Nene and whether he is the right presidential candidate for us. Welcome, sir.
First, I want to thank my brother John Nene for the invitation. Then, maybe just tell you a small history about Nene. I met Nene back then 2017 when I had just finished my diploma at Technical University of Nairobi. By then, somehow I was frustrated by life because, you know, when you are schooling, you have a lot of ambitions. Maybe after you have graduated, you expect to get a job, then none of your relatives want maybe to host you. Then I met Nene. He told me, Mark, you can't go back home. If you go to the village, your small diploma will be useless. You better have a t-shirt, sandal, but you struggle in the city where there is capital. Then I was asking myself, hey, where do I start from? Then I applied for, there was a seminar in South Africa. Then I tried, I went to the cyber, then I logged in, then I applied. Fortunately, I got the invite. When I qualified, I went back to Nene. Then I had no air ticket to go to South Africa. Then I was asking, what do I do? But I want to thank God. I don't know where Nene, through his network, alipata hizo pesa. He paid for me. He's the first person to pay for me an air ticket. Can you clap for that young man? He's the first person who believed in me. He's the first person when all my family had not believed in me, he risked and he paid for me a ticket. That one alone, hiyo ndio imenifanya mimi kama president ambaye niko hapa. The only president who was sworn in, waiting now the other co-president, Bwana Nene, to leave all my busy schedule of Saturday to come and officially endorse the incoming president, Bwana John Nene. With all that much, thank you so much. And finally, just want maybe to, with your guidance, Bwana Speaker, maybe I invite one of my role model, who was the first president of Bunge la Mwananchi, Bwana Director Ojao, just to say hi to the audience. Kindly.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Ababu is my son. I'm Samson Owemba Ojiayo, outgoing director of Earthy Water Services Board. I'm the one who actually came up with the concept of Bunge la Mwananchi. And due to the fact that there's something which is a disconnect, and I heard Mheshimiwa talking about people voting and leaving polling station. There's no thread which connects the citizen and the ruling elites. They've taken people who live in slums, and they talk to them when they want to be elected. These people live their own lives. When you talk about the academic papers, yes, me, I'm a graduate. Statistic, 10% in this country are the people who are graduates. Yes, you're being ruled with the people who do not have papers. You want us to participate in a club of the learned lot, while majority are not graduates because they could not afford. Then we need to create our own club, whereby we can also, how do I be part of a club where I can elect and I cannot be elected? It's uncalled for. Because this society have abused so many people to find themselves in such kind of environment. When I was in London, I visited Heathrow. And I remember our great fathers who fought for independence, the Clarion Call, used to meet in a park, Hyde Park in London. And they used to talk and discuss, asking themselves big questions. How do we go back home to liberate our country? That was the big question. Then I started that kind of concept, Bunge la Wananchi. I started in Nairobi, I went to Meru, I went to Mahua, I went to Mombasa, then they started. And then the late Wawero Mburu, we started a program in Citizen TV, if you can remember then, Bunge, which used to be vibrant. So we must actually know, in terms of actually how we want leadership. Nene, I've met him just the other day. And when my president actually told me to come and meet with Nene, I was seeing young. But I told Nene one thing. First of all, I can see this banner. It is our time. We need to unpackage this thing and give another flesh into it. Do you understand what I mean? Because maybe it's our time to eat as young people. It is our time for corruption as young people. We need actually to unpackage this, and I know what you are capable of doing, so that we say that it's our time to do what? Good point. Number two, it's not about election. What makes actually Nene and team a different kind of a brand could make actually mobilize people into that concept. Just so I told you the other day, I participated seriously in a just concluded Uganda election, very close with Bobi Wine, doing so many coordination. Even the other day, some of the MPs and councillors in the country meeting with me for some other reasons. But one thing which I liked also in Bobi Wine's election is because actually the disconnection, whereby Bobi Wine, because as an artist, he came and mobilized the youth, but then the Baganda people were like, you know, this is a young boy, you know, they kind of vibrant and they kind of, you know, people are following him. After taking this leadership, what is going to happen? They feared, instead of actually, old men were not leaving their houses in Kampala because they feared actually that kind of thing. Then we need to package this thing, and I'm telling you, another Kenya is possible with your leadership. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I realize we have very many presidents in the room. And that's a good omen. Actually, history has demonstrated many times, actually times without number, that when young people come together and put their heads together and start doing something passionately with a conviction, then the sky is the limit. When Abraham Tiro rose up from wherever he was and he started to challenge the status quo, when something called the Abantu Education Program was introduced in South Africa, whereby some whites were to study their own things, and you know, he challenged this. And in 1972, probably it landed him somewhere else, but he had the guts to stand and say the truth where it is due. That is the youth. When another youth stood up somewhere in West Africa, Sankara, another brother, talked about him. He made the impossible possible. He raised the illiteracy level from 13% by the time he was getting into office, and by the time he was leaving, his country was 74%. That is the youth. Without any international aid, without much pomp and circumstance that we see even in Kenya. He started from somewhere, and today we are reading about him. Up to there, I'm calling about a lady, or I'm calling upon her, Madam Beryl Metho, to come and tell us why John Nene? Why is it John Nene's time now? Is there something he's bringing in that we are not seeing? Maybe you saw it. Welcome.
Good afternoon, everybody. Yeah, I'm happy to be here, and Nene, this is really great. It's amazing. I know you've been on this journey for 7 years plus, as Adonna said, and it is beautiful what you're planning to do. So just a brief history on how I know Nene. So anyone here who knows National Youth Roundtable, it's a forum that tries to bridge the gap between the financial inclusion, the knowledge inclusion, to try and rise the youth up, to be able for them to pick up these things, for the youth to be empowered, for them to be better business people, for them to be better farmers, for them to be better, humans, generally, to be able to raise this generation, to give a better pathway for the next generation. So Nene has been our president there, so let's clap for him. And he has focused on the youth from all over. He has not said male, female, tribe, party. Nene said we have to bring this youth together and we have to make something out of them. And we have gone to all these regions, all these counties, and we've met with the youth, and we are seeing results where we are seeing youth who we started with are now doing something with themselves. We are seeing them getting empowered. We are seeing female, male, 19-year-olds talking about their 30-year ambition. They are doing their life strategic plans. And Nene has spearheaded that. So Nene, thank you very much. So today, when Nene called me and told me, that's the pre-launch, I was like, wow, Nene, finally. Finally, we are getting somebody who understands what Kenya needs. Somebody who has been with us, somebody who has been down there, has been in between, somebody who has been on this journey for 7 years, who has helped other aspirants to get somewhere, who has made people from scratch, who has built somebody. How about he built all of us, he built this nation to where we want to be. So Nene, I believe in you. I believe everybody in this room believes in Nene. And I'm happy that you have taken this bold step. You have showed up. I'll talk about Barack Obama. Who knew Barack Obama before he became president? How did Barack Obama's campaign start? An idea that was born between him and maybe his wife and somebody else. He had many people criticizing, his wife being one of them, telling him, Barack, you can't do this. But what did Barack say? Yes, we can. And Barack did it. It is our time. It is that time. It is the time for us. It is the time for Nene to show up. Nene, it is your time to show up. It is your time to build something out of this country. Our country is in tatters. Our country is a hot mess right now. We don't know. We are so partisan. We are so tribal. We have all these religious, lanes that have been drawn, and everybody looks at everyone with suspicion. Yeah? Nene, it is your time. I believe you can bring that cohesion. I believe you have the passion. I believe you have the commitment. I believe you have, everything it takes for a young man, for, a youth in this country to tell everybody, Kaini Kando, this is my pathway. And it involves everybody. It is a global pathway. And the electoral system, as our brother Juma said here, is something that should respect that we have, as a country, elected John Yahya Nene. And so John Yahya Nene is going to be our president. In 2022, we want to see you in State House. In 2022, we want to see you in State House. Yeah? Barack Obama had passion. Barack Obama had a vision. Barack Obama had commitment. Barack Obama had everything that I see in you. He was a young man starting from somewhere. He had all these people drawing, religious lines on him. 2 terms, and he left office proud. He left the office, the American presidential office, somebody who we still look up to. I still look up to Barack Obama. I still follow what he's doing. I follow his, when he does a speech somewhere, I still listen to it and still watch it. Because he's somebody that left a mark, that impacted me in a way, that John Yahya Nene, I believe you can impact Kenyans in that way. You leave a legacy to be proud of. You let our grandchildren, our great-grandchildren say there was John Yahya Nene, who changed our education system, who changed our health system, who changed our, transport system, who brought equality, who said there's no male or female, who said we are all Kenyans, despite our religious, economic, financial, social background. So we have that. And I think, Nene, it's your time, it's our time, and it is their time. So let us embrace, the consistency, the passion, the commitment, the change that we saw in as a country. Where do we want to be in 5 years? Where do we want to be in 10 years? To be very honest, the youth, even those who are not youth, 45-year-olds, we don't know where we are going to. We are so lost. We need direction. People have lost jobs. You ask a parent with children, so in the next 5 years, what do you want to do? They say, I don't know, I live a day at a time. We can't live a day at a time for the rest of our lives if we want to have a generation that is spot on, a generation that is self-sustaining, a generation that will develop other generations. And that gap has to be bridged. I like what our former president for Bunge la Wananchi said. Bobi Wine's campaign was beautifully done. However, the youth took it over. In Kampala, Bobi Wine won all the seats. If you look at, I was in Kampala a week ago. If you look at the parliament, the MP's equivalent, the councillor's equivalent, are all Bobi Wine's people. What happened to him as a president? It's because he did not bridge the gap between old Kampala and young Kampala. That is a task that we have to work on. How do we bring that mentality of the old people that young people can't lead? Let us bring it home to us. Let us find strategies to make them believe that you are 35, you are 40, and you can drive this country to where we want it to be, to where you envision, to where you've seen it. What's so special about Europe anyway, that we can't do? Are we not educated? Are we not? We have all these resources. How are we allocating these resources? So Nene, I believe in you. I know you can do this. And it is our time not to eat, as President said. It is our time to change. It is our time to drive. It is our time to grow. It is our time to create. It is our time to develop. It is our time to build a new admirable Kenya. Let us be on the flag out there and people say, we want to be like Kenya. Because we got John Nene in State House, and John Nene is doing what he's supposed to do. So with those few remarks, ladies and gentlemen, we are here now for the pre-launch. We need to walk this journey with our brother. We cannot sit here and let him walk the journey alone. As Don said, there are two things. There is the support and there is the financial bit. We can do either or. Nene, we are happy to work with you. We are happy to talk with you. We are happy to sit in many other forums. We are happy to launch you as our President-elect 2022. You are our candidate of choice. You are who we look at, and we know you can do this. So with those few remarks, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. And it is our time not to eat, to create, to develop, to build, and let's bridge that gap between the old Kenya and the young Kenya so that we can get everybody on Nene's side. Asanteni sana.
Asante sana, Madam Beryl. It is our time not to eat, but to fix things and to put good leadership in its place. Let me take this little opportunity to introduce a friend, a brother who is also joining us in this cause. He's called Mr. Josephat Moses Ochieng. Mr. Josephat Moses Ochieng is the Executive Director of the Center for Africa Volunteers. He will be having like 2 minutes to say a word or two before we welcome the President. Welcome.
I'm blessed with a very big voice, so I hope I'm heard by everybody. John Nene is a person who I have no reason to support, but I have every reason to support him. Number one, Mr. John Nene is a person who does not have a mother. Number two, he is a person who does not have a father. Number three, he is a person who has nobody, absolutely nobody, to speak on his behalf. He speaks for himself like any other people or persons who are disadvantaged in this nation. And it is written somewhere, can these dry bones get life? Can these dry bones get life? John Nene's mother was selling groundnuts in the streets of Migori. And when he stood to speak that we can change this nation, his peers, his headmates, and his village mates questioned and asked, why can't you change your mother's situation first? That is the question that people are going to ask Mr. John Nene as he is launching himself into this field. And I say, and I tell you, John Nene, you do not have money. Yes, you will not have it enough. You are going against the people who have all the money that are required to win any given election. But when you called me and told me that the launch is here today, I told you that now I'm going to be in the part of your security. This is my promise to every young person who is yearning to change this nation. We are going to be the security of Nene, whether we have guns or whether we do not have guns. This is the commitment that we are making to ourselves in this platform. We are going to win this election, and we must win this election. Whether it takes tears, whether it takes water, whether it takes blood, we are ready for it. We are ready to die for it. I run an organization whose mission and vision is to champion for peace, sustainable development, and African unity. But what peace? What peace when my mother in the village and mothers in the villages are dying in maternity wards because of lack of medication? What peace when we go to the election and some idiots and some fools steal those votes? Ours will not be stolen. By death, we are ready to defend our rights. By life, we give that very life to defend those lives. We are called into this by nobody. Mr. Nene has launched himself into this, and therefore, as his number 1 supporter, or number 10 supporter, or number 1,000 supporter, I don't care the number, this is the thing. We are not going to beg anybody. We are going to campaign and educate our people, because the majority of our voters are ignorant. So we are going to educate the people, and we are putting the placard and a strong warning to people who are going to be stealing our votes that we are ready to die for it. And before I die for it, I'm ready to defend myself for it. And as I defend myself for it, you take care of your life for it. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Josephat. He was very passionate about defending the presidency of Mr. John Yahya Nene. And on the same vein, I believe that we are going to help him defend our votes, defend the system, that is the new system that is going to be brought about by Mr. John Yahya Nene. But now, as I usher him in, and you all know that change is not very, very easy. Change is actually ruthless. And you have to be ready to be scratched by the change itself. And now that he had volunteered to bail the cat, when he's going to bail the cat, we are safe from being scratched by the cat, or probably being eaten by the cat. And now he's putting his neck on the line to do that for us. What can we offer him? We can offer him every moral support that we have, every single financial support that we have. We have a lot of money, of course. And I believe even in this room, there is enough. But of course, you have to have the will to give it out to support Brother Yahya Nene so that he can accomplish this. And when he accomplishes this, then we are safe as a nation. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm bringing you a man who is ready to change Kenya. We have always wanted Kenya to be a safe haven for everyone. But unfortunately, the powers that be will not allow us. But now he has volunteered to do that. He is passionate about what he's doing. He's committed about what he's doing. He knows what he's doing. That is Mr. John Yahya Nene. I believe that with the moral support and every other support that we have, we are going to see him in State House in 2022, God willing. Now, as he walks towards the podium, I request you to put your hands together with the incoming President, Mr. John Yahya Nene. Welcome, sir. Make sure there's no corona.
My mom used to call me a jungle because I never played with other kids. I was a very shy boy growing up. And I want to tell you that the decision to run for presidency is inspired from a very long history. And if it was my own will, I would not have attempted the presidency. I called my friend Don Collins and I told him, Don, I shared my vision with some people and they believe in it more than myself. And they are willing to fund every moment of my life. But now,
it scares me even more than I used to think about it when I was alone. And Don told me a statement, I don't know where he got it from. He said, if your vision does not scare you, it is not genuine. Abandon it. And that is what has pushed me to today. I'll begin by reading this speech because this is a well-researched speech of the situation of our country right now. After that, I will give you a bit of history of where I come from politically. I draw my influence from three people whose words have inspired this moment. Never underestimate the power of a small group of committed people to change the world. It is the only thing that ever has. This is by Margaret Mead. Each generation must, out of absolute obscurity, discover its mission, fulfill it or betray it. That is Frantz Fanon. The philosopher Santayana once wrote that those who do not remember the past are condemned to repeat it. And someone else, forever known as Anonymous, added that every time history repeats itself, the price goes up. Dear brothers and sisters, a journey of 1,000 miles starts with one step, it is said. And if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go with others. I strongly believe that what we have begun here today will go a long way to change the future of our country and provide the next generation with the best environment to live in peace, grow, and prosper. Our journey in pursuit of change of leadership and governance is inspired by the fact that we live in a very great country. Kenya is a very great country. I was sharing another day with a guy from Saudi, and he told me we are more resourced than Saudi Arabia. We are endowed with natural resources of agriculture, forestry, fishing, mining, energy, and tourism. Kenya's oil reserves are estimated to be the second largest in Africa, for your information. Our country is blessed with beautiful cultures and languages, religious and racial diversity. We have always lived in peace and harmony, unless, of course, interfered by negative politics. A country that is characterized with rapid expansion in telecommunications, manufacturing, transport and construction sectors. A country undergoing recovery in agriculture, supported by a large pool of highly educated professional workers. High level of IT literacy and innovation can be quickly put to the path of growth, development, and prosperity. Brothers and sisters, when Kenya attained independence, we were more hopeful than ever we were. Our leaders then promised sustainable development and prosperity for all. After years of subjugation, exploitation, and oppression under the colonial government, unfortunately, over 50 years down the line, we remain underdeveloped, burdened with poverty, diseases, corruption, tribal animosity, economic challenges, and injustices. I am lost of courage to fathom how this affects every aspect of our lives, every second. The problems have ever escalated, exposed by the outbreak of corona pandemic. The burden of heavy taxation, rising cost of living resulting from ever-increasing fuel prices, lack of universal health care, poor service delivery and provision of social amenities, unemployment, especially to the bulging population of energetic young people, among others. We cannot talk about change if we cannot talk about providing jobs for the youth. Studies indicate that there are about 500,000 young people who graduate from institutions of higher learning yearly, ready to enter the job market. About 75%, unfortunately, remain unemployed. 75%. Hundreds of factories have shut down, and over 1 million people have lost jobs because of coronavirus. There is limited access to entrepreneurial opportunities. It is public knowledge, everybody knows that the government structures meant to support youth entrepreneurship are marred with corruption and mismanagement. coupled with limited flexibility of resources. Majority of young people survive from their own creativity with minimal or zero support from the government. Actually, they are being frustrated. For example, boda, music and entertainment industries, among other informal sectors, these are purely from the creativity of young people, nothing supported by the government. As of the recent economic reports and expert opinion, and this is very sad, we are yet to be put under structural adjustment program by IMF. That means this is a fallen state. The main reason we suffer despite our natural and human resource base is the lack of responsible leadership, particularly political leaders. We have close to 2,000 elected leaders. We are not living in a vacuum. Only a handful are concerned with the welfare of the people they represent. Most of them are keen to retain power and accumulate wealth at the expense of their constituents. As such, the gap between the richest and the poor has hit depressing levels. Less than 0.1% of the population, around 8,300 people in Kenya, who comprises mainly politicians and their beneficiaries, own more wealth than the bottom 99.9%. That is close to 44 million people. The richest 10% people in Kenya earn on average 23 times more than the poorest 10%. Struggle to access limited resources from poor management has watered down human dignity and trampled over human rights. Nowadays you watch TV and you just see people committing suicide, people killing each other. This is frustration from the struggle for survival. Struggle to access our political leaders are also the doors to high-level corruption. And that was the only reason why I had a problem with BBI, because BBI is increasing number of political leaders. And now when they increase, the doors of corruption are increased. This is where our money disappears. That penetrate every sector of the economy like a silent cancer. A weak judicial system, actually. Shameless demands for bribes and instituted kickback system by public officials has led to increased business costs for local and foreign investors. Some of them that we have introduced to county government, they are asked money before even they implement the project. Widespread tax evasion has hindered Kenya's long-term economic growth. Fraud in public procurement is common. The sad thing, my dear brothers and sisters, is that Kenya loses approximately 1 trillion shillings every year, translating to 6 trillion for the period Jubilee government has been in power. 6 trillion. When we were growing up, the biggest corruption case we knew was Golden Park. It was only 39 billion. These guys in a span of less than 10 years have lost 6 trillion in corruption. Can you imagine? This is an analysis by Auditor General. This is not from me. No sustainable development can be attained if leaders are not responsible to those who they lead. We believe that it is only by installing competent, morally upright, empathetic, fair and forward-thinking leaders that we will successfully guide the sustainable development of our country. Responsible leadership and sustainable development cannot work asunder. To build the Kenya we want, we plan to follow through key steps as builder blocks towards meeting our goals. That is now what I am intending to do. Number one, and this I know I can achieve unless I'm dead. You know, they can also try to make me go, but I believe in Allah. We want to build a political institution for nationally recognized political party, anchored on a long-term ideology, with strong, independent, and functional structures to ensure delivery of quality service to the people. I'm doing this with some foreigners. I'll not mention. One of them is here with us. Maybe they might revoke his license, but I know we will do this. A political party that is systematically transparent, representative, engaging, and involving. We've never had this. Since time for independence, we have already developed a political party strategy. We've really worked. And this one we did in collaboration with the Netherlands Center for Multi-Party Democracy. It will be implemented in the next couple of months with the following achievable goals among others: strengthening the party organs, increase party membership in the counties, profile the party as the party of choice for Kenyans, strengthening engagement, representation, inclusivity of young people, women, disabled and marginalized communities, develop sustainable resource mobilization strategies, increase representation in governance structure, increase local and regional international engagement, empower and strengthen county grassroots offices, establish leadership and governance. We have a team of experts who are working to harmonize all available development blueprints. We have a lot of them in the archive, Vision 2030, Agenda 4, name them. We want to have one practical document with budgets and timelines. We will be implementing these documents when we form the government 2022. The document will address, among others, universal health care, decent housing for all, expansion of sporting and recreational facilities, provision of clean water for all, informed and efficient government policies, county economic specialization, rapid infrastructure development, modern mechanized agriculture, investment in education and research, establishment of economic development boards, utilization of mineral and energy, and the tourist sector, thriving capital market, open and flexible opportunities. We, as a government, ensure a working legal system and respect to the rule of law. We will also investigate long-standing reports on past injustices. Don't let you guys not be cheated by BBI. BBI is covering so many things. And a country cannot grow without justice. There can never be peace without justice. So we will interrogate Ndego's report, Akiumi's report, TJRC report, Dumu's report, among others. They are there in the archives. We believe that we cannot attain lasting peace and prosperity without certain level of justice. Finally, we believe that we stand on a path of truth, demonstrated through positive leadership and democratic processes that will restore hope to Kenyans. This journey, my dear brothers and sisters, is not easy and cannot be left in the hands of few. Other than the huge resources involved, both in capital and human, it also requires hard work, sacrifice, and perseverance. My high school motto was, "Perseverance shall win through." That was Maseno School. We therefore ask everyone present here today, as well as the rest of Kenya, especially the younger generation, that we must come together as a nation to define the change we want. It has been achieved in Asian countries, just the other day, Singapore, Malaysia. It has been achieved in the Middle East. Everybody wants to go to Dubai. It was just a desert. Central American states, the BRIC nations, that is the Brazil, Russia, India, and China, who before were in worse condition than us. It is possible here, and our time is now. May Almighty God guide us and bless our efforts throughout this journey. Thank you very much. That is the background that has informed this. My dear brothers and sisters, many of you think that I started politics today. I once went with my brother Abdurrashid, he knows our engineer Yusuf, to my village. And Yusuf, he doesn't like politics, but he's our friend. So Yusuf met my childhood friend, and he asked him, "This guy Yahya is very good, very sharp. I've never seen a Jalu who is this sharp. But his problem is politics. Please talk to him." And my friend told Yusuf, "This guy has been a politician since I knew him, from class 4. He has always been a politician. He is always the speaker of the debates. He's always this. Politics is is in his DNA. When I married my wife, Yusuf told my wife, you know that you are second wife to politics, to this guy. So when I'm starting politics today, don't think I'm a novice in politics. I have always been in the political system every year, but I've believed in the wrong people. I've pushed people. I started in 2007 when we were in ODM Youth League. I was representing Nyanza. And George, I know you remember very well the energy we entered the ODM and the disappointment we received. So we were in ODM Youth League. After that, I took a strategy of a friend of mine who was vying for MP. I did his strategy and he won. Thereafter, Dida found me in the mosque in Migori, and he was looking for members to register for his party. And he asked, you know, only Muslims understand. Muslims are very lazy on Fajr Salah. So when you go, you just find a few people in the mosque. So the few that were there, he asked, he said, you're the ones who have the strength to pray this morning. So I need registered voters for my party. How many can you give me? He asked another guy, and then he came to me and he said, I asked him, how many registered voters do you want for a constituent, for a county? He said, I need 1,000. I told him, I'll give you 2,000. And then he said, my friend, I've walked all over the country, and when I ask people to help me get voters, they're telling me 2, 3, 5. How can you give me 2,000? We need to talk. Then we had a side talk with Dida, and he said, my brother, I'm not leaving you. Everybody in this country think I'm crazy. You're the only one who has now made me think that what I'm doing is not in vain. So Dida is the person who brought me in Nairobi. And I was behind his strategy until Dida became who he is. But unfortunately, when he got some little coins, he lost the vision. After that, I forwarded Dr. Kuru Okot. We were with him in a board of some NGO that we are running for young people. And I told the Kuru, look at what Dida has messed up. You are a lawyer, you're an intelligent Kenyan. Why can't you go for presidency? And at one time, we were only the two of us in Third Way Alliance. And we pushed him wherever to that level. But let me tell you, my dear brothers and sisters, leadership is not easy. When you look at these guys on TV, and when you meet them one-on-one, it is a God-given power for you to be a leader. You just mess it up. So that when you are on the sides, you think leadership is easy. When you are faced now, this is Kalonzo, Raila, in one room. If you do not have that eternal power, you can't survive with them. So this is how we pushed the Kuru Okot up to that level. Right now, he doesn't even have a party. He lost direction. Yeah? In Luo, we said he was hit by Kionduko. And the power of those leaders overwhelmed him. And he did not even know where he was going. I want to swear before the living God, if I had a choice to leave this position to someone else, I would give it to someone else. But I want to swear again to the living God, I will never trust someone else. I know Win is my witness. We struggled with all these guys, like Kiapis, Dida, Ikuru, all these people. We pushed them. I was looking for resources from my friends to push these guys to that level. But when they reach there, they keep blaming Kenyans. I asked them, Kenyans don't even know you guys. People loved Dida with passion on the ground. But him as an individual, he did not have the power to marshal himself up there. So I want just to give you assurance that if I am alive, I think I can beat these guys. You know, when David came, if you are a believer of the Bible and the Quran, it's the same story. People were seeing a giant. David was just seeing an immoral person who is messing up the people of God. And he said, I can kill this beggar. Don't give me these heavy things. When I look at the leaders of today, I just see conmen and thieves. All of them. You people think we have leaders. We have no leaders. We have people. There's a local term they're using, Japab. They're just there siphoning money from the public coffers for their own personal benefits. And they have lost humanity. They do not care anymore. They do not care anymore. And the rest are just their cronies. I was looking at, I'm asking myself, this group of hustlers and this group of BBI, is there not just one person who can say, okay, brothers, me, I'm not for this thing. All those who are on these guys are just singing, hustler, hustler. They don't even know. How can you quantify hustler? What is it? Is it a development document? Is it a program? How is it going to change people's lives? Is it a strategy? What is it? So this is the background where we are. We have to be very realistic. Me, I'm not scared of these guys. And I know that what the plans that we have, and I believe that we have the best plan. Because this way is how the other people have developed. We must have an economic blueprint. We must have a political party that is an institution. We must do things right for the future generation to enjoy. So the reason why I called you people here today is that whenever any politician called me to draw his strategy, this is how I always started. I would tell him, come, call all your friends, tell them you are going for this thing. Your family, your brothers, your friends. Let's seek their support first, emotionally, or whichever way. After that, now throw yourself to the public. If you are in this room today, just know that you are close to my heart. The people I invited here today are my true friends. Ben knows I call him whenever I want, at night or any other time when I need support. All of you, you have supported me at some level. You have believed in me at some level. It would be very bad for you just to see me launching a party. It will be very bad for you just to see me in rallies. So I've gone the very first step that I always do to other politicians, to bring my friends, people who are close to me. I don't believe in money doing anything. I was not born with money. I was born in a room of 10 by 10, and it was a mud-thatched house. And it was not even ours, it was rented. And we used to share a bedroom with my mother. And I told my mom, me, I'll go to a national school. My mother said, even a Rambe school, I will not afford. Leave alone. Leave alone a district school. But one thing I thank God for, once I've seen a vision, even if the whole world is not with me, I'll go for that vision. And I went to a national school and we shared it. And I went to the one of the best, Maseno School, and we were with George there, and Joshua has also joined us here. Yes. So when I tell you, my friends, that I'm going for this, I will work extra hard. And my energy will push you guys with me. All I need from you is your emotional support. Pray for me. Yeah? And if there is anything that you think can support this cause, please feel free to support us. But if I don't die before 2022, I will face these people. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mheshimiwa, for making it very clear so that we know with whom we are taking this journey. And I personally, as Omar, I promise you everything that I have, including the oxygen I breathe, I'll breathe it to the last to support you. And I can see some notable brothers here. Only time may not allow me to introduce all of you, but I'm very, very happy and glad that you're here. We are getting into an open forum where you are allowed to air your view. If you have anything, any contribution to make to this particular thing, then you just raise your hand and then we pass the microphone to you. But I think this is the best time to say anything. You know, when you are in a wedding, a Christian wedding, the pastor says, anybody who has anything to say should say it now or forever keep quiet. Now, this is the time to say something before we go, inshallah. It is an open forum. Why Yahya Nene? Why should he be the president? And how can you help? Anybody who is ready to say something, give me your hands up, inshallah. The microphone is already there. Brother Abdul Rashid, are you there? I don't see very far, so just give me your hands. Brother Abdul Rashid. Yes. So if you have anything to say, please, let's support Yahya. By anything possible, even by a word of the mouth. It is our time, and we have to fix it. We have to make it work. Who is going to have the first comment? Welcome, sir.
Brothers and sisters, I just came to witness this occasion, but not to come and talk. But when he said, who can give the word, I think Brother Yahya Nene deserves that we have to give that word. My name is Haji Muhammad Yassin. A word of encouragement I want to give him. One is, no one is born to be a leader or to be a president. It's up to the person to have that feeling, that commitment, to sacrifice for his own people. I want to give him a word of encouragement. I started politics in Somalia at the age of 24. And now I'm 67. I stood for Somali presidential candidacy for 3 times. I lost 3 times. And I'm still aspiring for the 4th. The reason some people, they said, you lost. But I told them I did not lose. But I won. Because 2 principles which I stood for, the Somali system, which is a presidential parliamentary system, is based on not election but auction, is corruption. You have to buy the votes. So the 2 principles was not to bribe to get the votes. And the second one, that the people maybe they didn't want it for that time for one reason or the other, I stood for Islamic Sharia. That many people, even the Muslims, now if one stands for Islamic Sharia, it becomes like somebody who is wants to say that I'm selling cocaine, a drug or something like that. So everybody's fear. So these 2 principles which I stood, maybe was not a time, but it was a matter of principle. So I tell my younger brother, Yahya, not to worry about your youth. I was much younger than you. And don't worry also to lose. You can lose. One of the American former presidents, Abraham Lincoln, I think, he lost 4 times, 7 times. He won at the 7th. 6 times he lost. So many parliamentarians, when they say sorry that you have lost, I say no, I did not lose, you lost. It's like somebody who booked an aeroplane, a seat, and somebody bribed the one who was selling the tickets. And when you come to the front and you are told that your seat is already taken, maybe you shout, or somebody has taken your seat. But after half an hour that the plane took off, the plane crashed. So who is the loser? The one who bribed, went to the plane and lost his life. So I did not lose. So my word of encouragement, my brother Yahya and to others who may aspire for the future, is that you must be a principled person. Number one, you must have a vision. And secondly, you must be committed never to fail your journey to your objectives. So it's our time, as we said, that we stand for the justice and for the right leadership. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Our brother actually ran 3 times and failed 3 times. But in the failure, he won because he learned a lot of things that he didn't know before. And right now, he's the right person actually to even advise our brother John Yahya Nene. So you have a brother and a father in our brother over here. Any other brother who may want to say something? Yes, I can see over there.
Thank you very much. I know right now you guys are waiting, some of you cannot recognize me. I was just the same size. I think I was slim. I was slimmer than Nene. My name is Joshua Odongo Onono. I was at the ballot in the 2013 election, together with Honorable Winnie Kaburu Kinyua, who was that time the running mate to Honorable Professor Kiapi. I was the running mate to Mohammed Abdul Badida, and it's John Yahya Nene who made it possible. So I'm a living testimony of his political beliefs that can transform this country. I've known Nene close to 18 years. He is no longer my friend, but he is my blood brother. I only have one blood brother, but Nene is another. Because I remember at our time in Maseno, when we used to talk, our peers used to think that we are crazy. And we always told them that we don't have extraordinary people. We only have ordinary people who do extraordinary things. I've learned a lot from John Yahya Nene. I can take the whole day to talk about John Yahya Nene. He's somebody who transformed. Because I remember the first time I met him, he liked alcohol. And he used to have Rasta. I know some of you don't believe this, but he used to have Rasta. And when I vied for the Secretary General in Barcelona University, he was our strategist. So his politics began way back. I remember when he used to get drunk. We locked him one day in the students' organization's office. So he used to brag and tell people, you know, when you fight, you will be thrown outside. Me, if I fight, I'll be locked in the office, the students' leadership office. So after that, we left, and we met dinner. We formed the political party. And I think at that time, I was, I think the youngest amongst the presidential candidates. And I also think my mentor is also here, Honorable Winnie Kaburu. She's an Iron lady who has actually mentored me. She has advised me even when Dina was given the national chair for CDF. She started coming up with ideas, but I don't know what Dina took. Because if you look at his name, Mohammed Abdul Badida, in initials it is mad. So I don't know if he became mad. And I think the monetary values made him even more mad. I remember that the time he came with a certain lady and said, now you are answerable to this lady. And we had Dr. Sam Shen. Some of you know him. He told me that you are a big joke. Because when we started this journey, it started with only 2 people. Dida and Yahya, then I joined, and then other people joined. Akina Don came later. So it's a vision that started somewhere. At the mosque, went to his sitting room, and that is how it started. So when you see Yahya believing in something despite no one believing in it, then you need to follow the course. I'll ask for 2 more minutes because I don't want more time. I've learned a lot. It reminds me of the bumblebee. If you look at the bumblebee, aeronautically it cannot fly because it has a big body with a short wingspan. It shouldn't fly. But the bumblebee defied all odds and flew. Why John Yahya Nene? I always use this, that Nene is a Luo by diversity, a Kenyan by citizen, an African by blood and soil, a husband, by love, and a father by responsibility, whose sole vision is to provide simple, humble, servanthood leadership. And that is just John Nene in one package. That is how I always describe him. He is somebody that I always believe in. Even if he calls me after 12, I will pick his phone call. If I get his missed call, I will call and tell him that I apologize for not picking your call because I believe in him. He always reminds me of 3 experiments: potatoes, eggs, and coffee. I will explain. If you put a potato in hot water, what will happen? At first, the potato is hard, but when it gets into water, after some time, it will get soft. If you take an egg and put it in hot water, the shell will become softer and the inner part will become less soft and brittle. But if you take coffee and put it inside water, the aroma will change the environment. I think that is the best description of John Yahya Nene. John Yahya Nene is the coffee that is put in water and it creates that aroma and changes the environment. Anything that he touches turns into aroma. And it reminds me about our forefathers. Our forefathers, history tells us a lot about our forefathers. Our forefathers were brave, they were brilliant, and they were courageous. Sometimes they had to pass unpopular legislations. Sometimes they had to make difficult decisions. But we are today who we are because of our forefathers. But 50 years down the line, what will history say about us? Will history say that we are as brave as our forefathers? Will it say that we made some extraordinary decisions? And we have to live up to that. May God bless you. May God bless the work of your hands. May God bless John Yahya Nene. May God bless Kenya. May God bless Africa. And lastly, may God bless the world population. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mheshimiwa. And of course, may God bless us. May He bless our souls. May He guide us to the right path. May He show us vanity that it is vanity so that we live it, and show us good that it is good, then we pick it. Now, brothers, as you know, a dream that you see or is revealed to you in a night or in your sleep, it may be so beautiful, but it will only remain a dream as long as you are on the bed. But if you really want to chase it and, make sure that you transform it and make it workable, then you have to wake up, freshen up and go. So that you chase your dream and realize it. And because of that, Brother Yahya just, showed us his dream. And he's out here actually running after it. And when he'll be going after the dream, at some point in time, he will be expected to board a boda boda, or a nduthi, as you guys call it in Nairobi. Or again, he will be expected to board a taxi, a Bolt, or whatever. Or even a train, an SGR, or a plane, so that he can realize this dream. But we have to agree that at some point in time, he may not be capable of, servicing all that. But he is counting on us, I and you and your friends who are, out there. He's counting on us to help him get into that SGR, get into that Bolt, get onto that motorbike and into that plane and get to wherever he needs to get so that he transforms Kenya. Can I get the last, or probably the second last, kumbe watu wengi. Last minute rush sisi kama wa Kenya. Madam Winnie. Get her the microphone, please.
I'm always working with young people because I want to stay young in their mind. So I got a young man who we have been working with, and I would like him to say a word because he comes from the other side of the Dr. Rotich.
It's a huge punishment to me because I'm a man of very few words. Yes, indeed, I work with Madam Winifred. She is my mentor, and every time I run into professional issues, I normally call on her, and anytime she picks my call. And I'm also, like what Mheshimiwa said, whenever she calls me and I fail to pick her call, I normally call back and say, Mheshimiwa, I'm sorry. We are used to calling her Her Excellency. That is a constitutional title because she was a presidential aspirant, Professor Yahya. And that's the title I always call her, even though she doesn't want to be called so. No, decency always, is very okay. So I got the chance to work with the government. When she said that side of the world, she didn't mean the tribe because we are actually transforming this nation from blood ties to ideals. We want to destroy those ties of tribalism, clanism, nepotism, and family issues, all that in our politics. So I was working for the BPI for the last 2 years, and it's really a sad state of affairs in this country. And whenever we hear an opportunity to change and transform the country, we always look for people who will embody those ideas that we want to see in our country, right? And what we generally saw out of the public for all the 2 years we started with BBI, the only new thing that we could add to the table was the lack of national values. What could have held us together as Kenyans, right? The possibility of running an election in this country without chaos could probably be solved if Kenyans would have known what is called our value system. What is our Kenyanness together, right? That we can agree to disagree and go home in peace and not go out in the street and cause mayhem, destroy property, maim and kill our brothers and sisters. So, Brother John Nene, I don't know if you had my name somewhere in the Development Center in Kibra, because there's somewhere I also scratched some project that you used to do there. Pamoja with Kina Adam Hussein. Back when I was doing my master's, I was very involved in community development because that's my passion. I did political science, but I drifted from politics and did something on governance and development. So I'm very passionate about the community. When I met Adam Hussein, there's something that was scratching from what happened. You can talk to him about it. And it was just about the time when they were still broadcasting from a mad office. And we picked up from there with Natola Ngata, and Pamoja is now a great project that Nene can actually be called and say, all right, this is your brainstorm. I'm surprised no one has mentioned it in all the speeches I've had here, that Nene has a flagship project with his name in Kibra here, a community radio. That is something that is constantly empowering the community. You see, I want to pose a very simple question. We have what CGTN, right? CGTN is Chinese or something. We have BBC, we have ABC, we have CNN, and all these are global, right? Why would Britain, for example, invest billions of dollars to inform the world about its own programs? Why would China invest billions of dollars to inform the world about its own culture and its own heritage? You need to understand the power of communication and the tools that come with it. And John Nene seems to have grasped that at an early age. So it is something I'm so proud of. And when I hear you look for this thing, man, let us bring this in all the things that serve, all the power that comes with it, or make sure that we don't lose the ground. Because what is really eating our country today is not disease. It is a lack of character. That is the beginning of corruption. Before we go and loot our public offers, it has to begin with our system, our thinking system. So Nene, go for this thing, and whenever you need any support, always reach out to me. I'm of the Excellency Wilfred. You can always get in touch with me. I'm just in Nairobi for a few days, but I'm very flexible in traveling. I'll be relocating to Nakuru because I always want to go there. But I'm also teaching somewhere in Nairobi, one of the private universities. So keep up the good job, inspire the youth, train the place, and show us the way. But all the way, we want to promise that we're going to support you, your dream, and all the aspirations.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I had 2 hands up. Let me give it to our brother from the diaspora. Can you pass over the microphone?
Thank you so much. I didn't plan to say anything, but I got very encouraged. I do support John, Nene. I feel like what you stand for, I stand for, basically. My name is Jonas Tesfer. I run accelerator programs here in Kenya. I work with the leading startups and innovation hubs around this beautiful country. And there's 60 of them. So basically my tribe are the doers and shakers of this country. And they're all under 30. We're talking about the youth, right? And in my life or my day-to-day work is seeing all of these young entrepreneurs trying to create new opportunities in all industries, from agriculture to urbanization, affordable housing, education, healthcare, name it. The principle around disruptions and innovation is you see a market that is badly served. There's no value for money. People are getting screwed of their wallets. They don't get what they're paid for, right? And then these clever entrepreneurs create new solutions. And by doing that, they also create employment. And this is much needed, right? This is the lifeline of any country, is startups and SMEs, right? We all know this. But something that always bothered me, being a person that works with innovation and disruption, is that the industry and market that is serving their clients the worst and deserves to be disrupted the most is the political system. It is. And I see thousands of ideas and concepts every year, and they're very good, but I never see them in the political system. The political system has kind of been a wall protecting it from disruption. But it makes no sense. Why? 70% of the population in this country are under 30. The median age on the African continent is 19.7. What's the median age of political leaders in Africa? 60s? 70s? Dinosaurs. They don't represent the population. And the population are tech savvy. They're everywhere. So my contribution to you, John, is to use my creativity, my system, disruptiveness and innovation to look at how do we tackle these big players.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, my brother. I think he's bringing technology into this whole thing, and I hope it works, inshallah. Your hands were up, my brother.
Okay. Kwa majina naitwa Calvin Okoth Otieno, pamoja anajulikana sana Gaucho. Mimi nilialikwa na George. George alipigia simu kitu saa 6:30. Akaniambia iko rafiki yetu, mimi natoka Migori. Na yeye tulisoma na yeye bado alikuwa mbele yangu. Wao walikuwa na hesabu kama watu wako na kizuri kitabu. Sasa tukakuja tukapanda Nairobi, basi yeye anatoka Uliri, watu walikuwa wanaishi huko kabla waende sasa Uliri. Tukakuja tukakutana huko Nairobi. But mimi umenitangulia, mimi ni president wa ghetto, lakini mimi sikukula Biblia kama babu yangu. Yaona ghetto huko. Kitu naweza sema, umenitangulia kwamba unatoka Migori, wewe ni Mjaluo kama mimi, nina tu ile jina ndio imenichanganya, ndio ulizo kwa si Nene, sijawahi sikia hata Wajaluo walikufa zamani. Ile umenitangulia kwamba unajua Luo Nyanza mtu kutangaza anataka kusimama president na Raila hajakufa na hiyo ni kitu kingine ya ajabu sana. Kwa maana wakati George aliniambia iko jamaa na launch kwa sababu president, nikasema wacha nile nisudie nione vile akona hii courage ametoa wapi. Lakini mimi naweza kuhakikishia kwamba ndugu yangu, mimi niko na kusupport hata kama bado niko kwa ile chama ile nyingine, niko kwa ile machungwa. Lakini mimi nitakusupport kwa sababu tunataka vijana kama tusi ngoja mpaka Raila kwa mzee, hata yeye ngoja baba yake Uginga aanze kufanya nini, kutembea. So hii courage kama hii ni mzuri. Mimi nilisimama, watu wengi watakwambia Mungu, watakwambia wewe unaweza shinda kitakadogo, watakwambia Mungu. Mimi wakati nilisimama, sijazaliwa Nairobi, nilizaliwa Ushago huko. Hata Mosha alishtuka sana akiona FB siku inaongea mambo ya siasa. Nilisimama Mkuru Kayapo, na nikitangaza nataka kusimama, iko wazee waliniita wakikunywa in 2013. Nilikuwa nacheza mpira, natembea Kinuboya Patrick, walikuwa wananichangia kidogo, vijana wa Kora wananichangia. Sasa wazee waliniita mahali, wakaniambia wale wazee wanajifanya hao ndio deep state. Si deep state na system. Deep state na system iko kila mahali unaishi. Inalingana vile utaanda ulio deep state. So waliniita siku moja wakikunywa mahali, wakaniambia sasa unajua wewe hujazaliwa hapa. Na huwezi kuja tu from nowhere, kuja kutuambia unataka kusoma na tujui baba yako na tujui mama yako. Wenyewe wao watu wote walikuwa huko Shago. So wakanitishia, wakaniambia sasa mtu anakutishia hivyo unakaa nyumba ya mabati kuchukuliwa simu. Lakini nikapata hiyo nini, na nikasimama 2013 kwa watu 9, nikakuwa namba 3. Unajua sasa kuna namba 1. Kwa sasa kuna namba 1, ukilose umelose. So in 2013 after hapo nikaenda Liguna, iko ni nyingine ya missionaries huko Liguna Mbai. Nikaenda huko mambo ya kusoma mambo ya Mungu, jisipokuwa pia na tabia nzuri sana. Nikaenda mambo ya kusoma mambo ya Mungu kidogo. Nikaanza kutafuta scholarship ya secondary school through Kaema. Ule alikuwa minister wa education kwa serikali ya Kidero. So nilikuwa na support wale families ambayo hawana uwezo, kwa sababu mimi sikusoma sana. Ukipoteza baba yako 92, mama 99, unajua kwetu wazazi wako kishakufa, mnagawanishwa kulingana na kichwa yako. Kama wewe ni kichwa ngumu, kama mimi nilikuwa nakosa mtu wa kuchukua mimi. So singepata nafasi ya kusoma sana. So sikutaka ya kwamba mali naishi Mkuru watu wengine wasipate education vile mimi sikufanya nini? Sikupata. So ikabaki naongea na watu wengine wananisaidia, na pia watu wengine ikanisaidia in 2017 kupata kura ya mama iko kwa ngumu. Nikashinda nomination ya ODM, but hatukuwa nazingizana na Lado. Ule MP wa Makadara, hiyo ni state ya ODM. Ni bali ni state house. Wakachukua hiyo certificate wakapea mzee alikuwa ambaye kuna 50 kitu sahi 60 huko. But nikakuwa natakikana niwe independent. Jago wakanita niwe independent ili nikisimama Jojelua na wale walikuwa wamekosana nipate kura kidogo ule jamaa mtu Jubilee ndiye. So nikapigiwa simu na party wakaniambia support ule mzee yuko. So mimi ndugu yangu, mimi 2017 sisimami, 2022 sisimami. Kama ndasimama afadhali kae. Naenda kuchukua 2022. Na hiyo ndio maana nasema hata party leader wangu kama mtamshinda afadhali, kama atasimama mshinde awache. Ili aende akijua anaenda kufanya nini? Anaenda kuchukua. So ndugu yangu, mimi dream yangu hata kama nataka MCA, nataka kwa ile mesa ambayo watu watagawa watu wa Nyanza zingine tutakuwa na wewe kama utakuwa umechukua sana. Niko kwa hiyo njia kwamba after Odinga wale watakuwa nagawa Luo Nyanza mimi pia nitaitwa kwa meza ya kugawa hiyo nyama. Nisamea. Kwa ndugu yangu, mimi ukitaka support yote kutembea ghetto, Dandora, wapi, mimi na babu tulisimama naye bunge president. Siasa ni kuchoreana. Wakati nilipigwa na Sonko, yeye alikuwa mtu wangu kwa hospitali kuniangalia. Kumbe yeye pia anapanga mambo yake. Na tulikuwa tunazungumzana, yeye anasimama speaker, mimi naenda president. Mimi kuamka kutoka hospitali, kumbe asante kazi. Hiyo ndio siasa. So, ndugu yangu, mali tuko hapa. Iko mtu amekuja kuangalia, ni kama siku mama yako anaolewa. Iko mtu anataka kuangalia kama amesomewa ni kweli. Baba yako anajua hii mambo mengine. Si watu wote ama watu wote wanakuja wanataka kwenu, si wanakuja kunika. Watu wanakuja kuangalia unaringa Nairobi umejenga. So sasa hii tumekaa hapa, watu wanakuja kuangalia kama uko serious. Wale zingine wapata wanatoka hapa na story tofauti. Lakini mimi ningeomba ndugu yangu na wale wako hapa, msupport kijana wenzetu na tusiangalie pesa. Kwa sababu hiyo ndiye imeharibu nchi. Na mimi nakwambia ndugu yangu Nene, ile challenge ambayo iko ni vile tu leo asubuhi nilikuwa naongea na please friend sasa taja jina lake. Nikamwambia kama anaweza pata nafasi ni Uhuru, President Uhuru Kenyatta. Nimwambie challenges ambazo sasa hivi vijana wako nayo. Sasa hivi kijana haikuitishi chakula ya kwenda kwa tumbo yake, anakuitisha pombe nusu na ni asubuhi ama pesa ya kununua kugoka. Kwa sababu afadhali imefika mahali vijana wanaona afadhali alale, alewe, ajue ya kwamba asao ya kwamba hajaoa, asao ya kwamba hajalipa rent, asao ya kwamba anafaa ishi na maisha mzuri. Kwa sababu pesa iko na watu fulani juu. That's why unajiuliza wakati tukisoma na Kinomoni, ulikuwa unacheza kwa shule unasema mimi nataka kuwa daktari, pilot, engineer, na si engineer hivi, engineer serious. Saa hii generation ya saa hii our dream mambo ya kukua pilot, president na nini. Wana dream kukua Diamond, Harmonize na vitu zingine. Kwa sababu dream imefanya nini? Imekufa. Ndugu yangu, Mwenyezi Mungu akikusaidia ufike huko. Kama huwezi gonga hiyo mesa ambayo watu wanakulia chakula yote imwagike, then utuite tukusaidie, kwa sababu Kenya miaka ambayo zinakuja mbele hatutakuwa na vijana. Tutakuwa na watu ambao ukiangalia sura zao inasema ni wazee, lakini ukiangalia ID inasema ni vijana. Na ukitembea kwa mavijiji utalia vijana. Saa hii ndio wakati kama Mkristo, Yesu Kristo alisemanga iko wakati msinilie nyinyi wa mama, but lilieni hao watoto wenu ambao wanafanya nini? Wananitesa, kwa sababu itafika wakati ambayo wamama ambayo wajazaa watalala fofofo, lakini wamama ambayo wamezaa hawatalala. Hii si wakati ambao unasema umezaa wasichana eti wataletewa ng'ombe, eti wewe uko na vijana ni mandume. Mandume wameshapotea kwa pombe, wale wasichana wameshapotea kwa njia zingine. So mimi ndugu yangu nakusupport na nakuomba, vile unasema wakina Dida, wengine wanasema wakina Dida walikuwa kina Ukura kote. Sijui ni nini wafanyikanga huko juu. Watu wanakonga wazuri kama wajashika hivi Biblia. Wakishika hivi, hata mmoja ambao umemwalika leo kwa dini yako, anafuata protocol mingi ya kufikia. So mimi sina mambo mengi na kusupport, na Mwenyezi Mungu tukuweke kwa mkono ya Mwenyezi Mungu. Asante na Mwenyezi Mungu akubariki.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. As we come to the close, as we conclude, because conclude we must, I will pick only one speaker who will give us his comment, then we disperse. But as our brother has just noted, the sooner the youths in Kenya rise up above their tribal, inclinations and, all those inclinations, the sooner you rise from that, the better for us, so that we can elect into presidency or into state house a Turkana or even a Mdigo, or the smallest tribe, the Ogiet, as long as he has a sound mind and he has ideas that can help us. And we are not supporting John Yahya Nene because he has a funny name, Mr. Nene. No. We are not supporting him because he is a Luo. No. We are supporting him because he has what it takes. Let me have the last speaker, then we wind it up, please. Yes, gender sensitivity in play. Take the microphone back to our sister over there. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
My name is Halima Sharif. I am a member of Free Kenya Popular Initiative, PWD chapter, the head of PWD chapter. I am here to present my movement. I've been sent by my Secretary General, Nicolas Oyo. He's a friend to my brother Yahya. Yahya, we are here as a popular initiative, which is an alternative to BBI. We are here to support you and also to sensitize the members in the House, because the BBI, as a PWD, the BBI is not inclusivity with us. So we persons living with disability are out there. You count their votes, because we have numbers. As persons living with disability, we have family, friends, husbands, and wives. So the Free Kenya Popular Initiative is supporting you, and will be together in this journey. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, ma'am. Most welcome. And let's do what we have to do in order to support the cause. As we now conclude, my brothers and sisters, I would want to notify you. That, inshallah, we have started the journey, and we are moving, and we are not stopping any soon. And now that you have promised and actually pledged your support to Honorable Yahya, please let's honor the support and let's move with him. Fortunately enough, his lovely wife is here. I will only let you welcome her. I don't know how to do that.
I'm sorry I didn't remember her. I was really emotionally charged when I was giving the speech. My wife has been very supportive to me, and I've been running around with so many ideas. So many ideas. I was running National Youth Roundtable. We were also in business and stuff. And most of the things I do, she has never really taken a lot of concern about much of what I do, other than supporting me peacefully in the house. But for this, I was surprised for the first time. She said, I'm feeling something that this thing that you're doing is unique. Because for the first time I feel this journey, God is with you. And she accepted for the first time in the history of my life to come and embrace this occasion. So I know she will not come here to speak, but I just want her to stand up and wave.
Now, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. First and foremost, let me thank you for having spared your time to come and be with us in this occasion. Secondly, let me take an earliest opportunity equally to thank you for the pledges of your moral support that you made, and especially my brother over here with that, what is it called? Disruptive thing, Thank you very much in advance. I know we are going to go far, inshallah. And soon and very soon, in a couple of months, I think we are going to have a major launch. This time he just called a few of his friends to tell them what he thinks. But he's going to have a major launch in Bomas, inshallah. So we really expect you to be there as we move this journey, inshallah. Otherwise, I expect to see you, Mr. Nene, in State House 2022, and let's be there. And like my brother said, when there are those planned positions, consider us, inshallah. Otherwise, I may want to call one brother to come and say a word of prayer from the Christian community as we disperse. Oh yeah, I'm being reminded that there's some tea, there's some snacks here, also pilau. There's some things behind here. So don't go through that door. Go through this one, catch something, then we leave, inshallah. Otherwise, any Christian brother to say a word of prayer before we disperse.
Let's pray. Our most loving God in heaven, we come before you, hearts full of thanksgiving. We invited you when we started this session, and you gladly and generously blessed our hearts with your presence. You gave us the wisdom and patience, and you guided all the sessions by the Spirit. We want to present our brother John Yahya Nene, his vision for this country, his passion and commitment, and all the plans that he has for this country. Lord, we place him in your hands that you may grant him more grace and power, that you may protect him and guide him, that you may provide all that he requires for this campaign, be it good friends, resources, strategies, wisdom, and everything that you in your wisdom know and feel that he needs for him to succeed, to bring this country back to order. According to thy will, may you provide, according to thy power, and riches thy glory. As we disperse from this sitting here, Lord, we ask for your mercies back to our homes. Grant us your peace and your presence and your guidance. For I ask this in your holy name, through Christ Jesus our Lord. Amen.
And as we disperse, we say, Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdik, wa nashhadu an la ilaha illa ant, nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk. Wassalamu alaikum.